YouTube, welcome back to my channel. Okay, Wise, with your girl Wise, and today I have a story time for you that's going to start the series that I'm doing on narcissistic relationships and how to get out of them, how to even know that you're in one, and just everything relationships. So if you're ready for that, if you're ready for my big story time that I have to tell, okay, to start this series, please keep on watching. I have notes and I literally filmed this, like this is my third time filming this video, but I took my notes and I tried to write down everything that I could. Worse, I will be using false names. I'm only naming two people, so both of them will have false names, and this is hard for me, but I'm just going to wing it. I didn't even like rehearse or anything like that. Like, I'm just literally going to tell the truth, tell my story, and I hope you guys enjoy. Let me start with this. Let me start with how we this even started. So I knew him for years. There was always red flags, but it kind of looked so normal, and it kind of looked so like whatever, like whatever. I didn't look into it. But to begin with, how everything kind of started, like we're at a party. I saw him at a party, and you know, it was a long time, like the last time we spoke and everything like that, it was a fallout. So we kind of like not rekindled, but I was like, like everything's cool on my side, like, and I've been hearing rumors and stuff like that, and come to think about it, I don't know if he was spreading them, because I don't know anybody who would just spread rumors for no reason, or has the motive to, I should say, right? So let me start my makeup. But yeah, so I was like, yeah, like everything's cool on my end, whatever. I didn't have his social media, whatever, because again, we fell out, and I didn't look for it after. I figured after that night of me kind of like explaining how everything was cool, like that was it, you know? And I did say that I was like, if anything, like just hit me up on social media or whatever like that, I guess, because I don't got you. I have you blocked on everything. So I kid you not, about 2 days later, that's when I got the request from him. So I was like, okay, whatever. And he was mad cool. He was mad sweet. He was like, yeah, like, thanks for clearing shit up. Like, whatever. I was like, okay, boom. But then we started speaking as friends, because we were really good friends before. So we started speaking, and everything was all right at first. Like, we're just friends. And I think a few weeks passed by, and it just so happens that we were speaking for all that time, like just friends and everything like that, nothing more. And it was my birthday. So basically, let me make sure I'm on the right track. I forgot to add in a very, very, very keen detail, right? He looked like he had bread. I'm not even gonna hold you. He looked like he had a little bit, a little bit of money, a little bit of some. I mean, like, that's not the reason why I was speaking to him, but I'm saying that it was noticeable from how he was before compared to before. Okay, so I was right. He did have a little bit of bread, but as again, like, even then I knew that I didn't really like him, like, more than friends. So I wasn't really focused on that, but it was something that I took note of. I was trying to make money too, because I was in school, and of course college is hard, and it took up honestly most of my time. So it's not like, I could go out and look for a job, or it would be easy to. Anyways, moving on. So we were friends and everything like that. So I'm an introvert, so I didn't have any friends, right? To like spend my birthday with. And this is not a sob story. Like on a regular, even when I did have friends, like I like to spend my birthday alone. I don't know what it is. I just like to spend the time alone to like relax and gather my thoughts and kind of just like meditate and do all that. But this year, particularly, I wanted to celebrate. Like, I wanted to celebrate and I wanted to actually do something. So he came down, and because he lived in a whole different city, so he came down and he was like, like, boom, like, let's spend your birthday together. And as I said, he had bread. So I was like, oh shit, like, okay, let me figure out, let me figure out the ways or whatever like that. I'm not gonna get into details. I made bread. We're like, okay, we have enough for my birthday. Like, let's do this. And so he spent my birthday with me. We actually did end up having a small get together at my house, and then um we went to the club, right? And it was just so fun. It was so fun. Before we even discussed sex, anything like that, like no kissing, no nothing, we're still just strictly friends. We invited people, but everybody had to drop money on it, of course, right? So I don't know what happened, but I think not everybody showed up, and money was short or whatever like that. Long story short, he dropped over $500. It was like 600 or something like that, 700, out his pocket, like out of the blue, because of course we didn't have money. We didn't have the rest of the money because we had most of it, but not all of it, right? And you're not gonna get no bottles with half of the money. Like, that's not how it is. It's packages. We're at a club. Okay, we were trying to be grown. So he paid for the rest of the package, and it was really sweet. And I was like, okay, like, thank you. We're just friends. That's pretty sweet. Okay. Had a great ass night, and then he had an Airbnb because, as I said, um, it wasn't his city or whatever, so he was staying at an Airbnb. And it's not what you think. We went back with actually other people, so his other good friends and my best friend and me slept there. It was real cool and everything like that. It was real nice. But even then, like, it was kind of flirtatious, but kind of ignored it. And I don't like, if I remember correctly, he didn't really entertain it like that, but it was still there. It was still up in the air, feel me? It was a very awkward situation, but we're still just friends. So now fast forward, like, for I can't even remember how long, but I'm pretty sure it was like like it was like months. I don't want to lie, honestly, so I'm not going to say a timeline, but fast forward, and progressively, because as I said, we're friends, and I was like, okay, like, if you're gonna be generous, I'm generous too, whatever. So he, like, I noticed after a while, he was like, um, I didn't notice. He started asking me, like, oh, like, do you have money for like weed and stuff like that? And like, because I was just hanging out with him all the time. He was always in my city. After that, actually, after my birthday, he stayed. And it wasn't because of me, I don't think, or at least that's not what he told me. He said that he was staying because he wanted to make money in my city, and he wanted to just spend extra time with his friends. And now that we're friends, we're good friends, that's also just an extra added on excuse. So I was like, okay, cool, whatever. So it just so happened that, like, we would always spend time together, always. Even when, like, he went to go see his friends or whatever like that, after he was done, he would come and see me, or whenever he had time. And because, again, this wasn't his city, he always had time. And we just spent a lot of time together. So Honestly, to be honest, like even at that time, like personality wise, I cannot say that we had like such a huge connection that it was like irresistible. It was not like that. Like we did not have like enough intimate conversations and conversations about the right things to say that it was like it was formulating into what it led to. What we did do um is spend a lot of time at the club. Okay. We was literally like we were just young, stupid, dumb, wild and free. I swear to God, because literally we went clubbing all the time. And it got so bad to a point where it was just like every weekend we were going to the club. How did we have all this time on our hands? I don't know. But we're always at the club, we're always partying, and it was just so fun until it became not fun. Until one night, he had an Airbnb, right? But the thing is, it was in one of those places where it's like it was the up and down up and down places, and then the address skipped, and you could imagine how hard that was to find while you're not only not wasted, he was wasted, he was drunk as fuck, and I was it was regular for me to like take not take care but kind of like high key take care of him when we went out, because I wasn't that much of a drinker, so I didn't get like wasted and stuff like that. And I was always taught like that's not safe, me being a woman and stuff like that, you know, obviously. So he would always like get super duper 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 drunk. And I swear to God, I'm not trying to make him sound bad on everything. That's exactly what it was. Like we would go out and he would get dumb wasted. Like it was just even this one time where it was like, yeah, let me just add this in because it's gonna add to why he's, I believe that he's a narcissist, right? We went out one time, we were not together, okay, we were friends. And I made it very clear that I did not want a relationship or anything like that. So before y'all be like, well, maybe, no, babe. No, 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 baby. Okay. We went out to the club, and as usual, we got drinks together first, and then we just separated. He went his way, danced on all the girls that, because he had mad girls on him that liked him and stuff like that, and they just so happened to be at the club as well all the time. So when we would be there and stuff like that, they would see us, but they wouldn't think it's nothing or whatever, because he danced on other people, I danced on other people. So he would dance on them and I wouldn't care. We'd get drinks together and then we'd separate. So one day, and this is a red flag too, because I always felt awkward dancing on other people, because I kind of like, you know, when you get someone's vibe of like, you know, don't do that, or kind of like feeling restricted like emotionally. But anyways, one night I saw this super fine guy. He was so tall and he was so fine. And I don't know, like I like guys that are like reserved kind of, and I think it's because I'm introverted. But I could tell he was introverted, and like no girl was dancing on him, and it was definitely not because he was ugly, because he was not ugly. So me being the fire that I am, I went to go talk to him and dance on him. I don't think I have to say anything after that because it was just so great. I'm so embarrassed. But like seriously, like wow, it was just amazing. It was better than I thought it'd be, because we were in sync and everything, okay? And I looked, I will never forget this. I looked to my right and I saw him, let's call him Santana, okay? The guy that I'm talking about, this story time is about. I saw Santana looking at me dancing on the guy, and I'm like, why is you looking like that? You was just dancing. You have a girl right in front of you dancing on you. We is just friends. Sir, excuse me, can you turn away while I'm doing the damn thing with Mr. Hot Hot? The fuck? Anyways, so I'm dancing on Mr. Hot Hot, Mr. like 6'5", and he's watching me. I'm like, what the hell? Like, it was just really awkward. Bro, when I tell you, the club was finished, the lights turned on, and the guy was right there I was about to give him my number because he asked. He was like, oh, like, you're cute, da da da. And I'm like, hey, like, oh, you're fine. Mind you, right now, me being the person I am right now, like, I would never, ever, never, ever, 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 never, ever take a guy's number at the club because you cannot find love at the club. What the fuck? He probably just wanted one thing. But at the time, I was stupid enough to believe otherwise, okay? Basically, he grabbed me by my arm. Like, when I say grab, bitch, he snatched my ass. And I was like, what? It was just so crazy to me because, first of all, we are not together. Why are you holding my arm? Second of all, bitch, I was slightly scared, I'm not gonna lie, because he was drunk. Third of all, I definitely still wanted his number. And then the girls that were dancing on him were confused. I was confused. Bitch, we all looking at each other. Hot Hot looking at me. I'm looking at Santana. Santana's looking at me angry as... No, Santana's looking at the door ready to fucking go. Okay, bitch. He already got my coat and his. I'm thinking I'm in trouble. I'm like, I'm in trouble for what though? But I still felt like I was in trouble, and the girls are looking at me like, bitch, girl, I feel bad for you. I don't even know you. I'm looking at them like, bitch, I feel bad for me because I don't even know what's happening. Oh, when I tell you, he made a big scene. Like, we went outside the club, and then all of a sudden, what happened? He wants to play angry as fuck and like, oh, get the taxi, whatever, like that, let's go, da da da. So I'm like, okay. So I go get a taxi, right? And I really sound dumb as fuck because I'm just following instructions, but at the time, I really do feel like I was like scared. I was, because he was drunk. I didn't want I just didn't want no smoke. I didn't want no smoke. I didn't want no problems. It was 4 in the morning. I already didn't get Hot Hot's number. Like, oh, I was just so sad, babe. Okay. I after that, like, all jokes aside, I got the taxi and I was like, okay, let's go. When I tell you, like, he walked up to the taxi yelling and screaming, like, angrily, I kind of looked because I was already in the taxi. I was like, what the fuck? Like, what the hell? Why are you yelling and screaming? Why are you so angry? And he literally got in the, he's like, open the effing door, open the effing door. I was like, what the fuck? The door was already open. I'm looking at the door being open and I'm looking at him and he's like, I'm expecting him to get in on my side. And I'm like, the door's already open. Like, what do you mean open the effing door? So I'm trying to open it more and the taxi door is like already wide open. I'm like, that don't even make any sense. That do not make any sense to me. Like, I'm very, very extra confused right now, right? And then he's trying to get in the front while the door in the, like, the door where I'm at in the back is already open. And the taxi driver's like, at this point, the taxi driver's scared because he's all, obviously, he's from foreign, you know? So he's like, bro, like, I'm just trying to fucking make some money for my family. And I'm like, damn, like, I really feel bad right now. I am so sorry. I felt embarrassed. Okay. I was very embarrassed. And I was very scared because I've never seen him rage to that point before, and I was very confused at first about like what it was and why he was very angry. So to not take up so much time, let me continue on the story, right? He gets in the taxi, he comes around the taxi, so he was on this side trying to break open the door, whatever, like that, whatever. He comes on the other side So he gets in a taxi and he's like, yo, I don't give a fuck. And he's just yelling. He's very belligerent. That's the word. He's very belligerent. And he starts punching the back of the taxi seats, the taxi seat, um, where the driver is. So the driver's like, what the fuck? Because his head, it's his head, the seat, and then Santana punching the back of the seat. So I'm very grateful he didn't hit the taxi driver. Um, because wow. And the taxi driver's like, yo, I'm not moving shit where. The police pulls up and he's like, yo, officer, because after the club, I don't know how it is in your city, but after the club in my city, there's always police officers for situations like this. So police officer pulls up out of freaking nowhere and the light starts going off and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm not even drunk or anything. I'm very much sober. Okay. So I was like, oh my god. And the taxi pulls up with his arm. He's like, yo, get the f out the car, get the f out the car. I'm like, oh my god. So I I come out the car with my hands up, and he does too. No, he comes out first with his hands up. He gets arrested. I come out the car with my hands up too because the taxi's obviously not gonna drive me. He has the car in park and he's not moving. He's like literally shaking like this, right? And he gets arrested and he drives to the end of the block or whatever. I don't say shit to the police officer. And yeah, after that the police let him go or whatever because I think it was literally all an act or whatever, or again narcissism. And usually narcissism is tied to personality disorders, so it makes sense, or bipolarness, whatever the conditions are. There's no personality disorder and bipolar is connected to those two, right? Multiple personality disorder. So I believe, like, honestly, he has an array of these because yeah, it didn't make sense how one time he was okay and then and next he wasn't. And I really do think it's because of me dancing on the guy and almost getting his number and him bagging me, but it's not like we were together, we were friends. And it wasn't like, you know, we was doing anything, like we're actually friends. Like I was very confused. So after that we take the taxi home and I'm like, wow, like I explained to him straight up, I didn't care how angry he was. I was like, that was so freaking embarrassing. Like you're so dumb. Like you did all of that for what? Like I don't get it. I just don't get it. And I specifically remember that night because later finding out that the girl that he was so close to that was there, like she was actually, his, let's call her Sugar. She was actually messing with him and giving him money. He was having sex with her for money. There you go. The whole time. So he's whiling on me. I don't even know what to call, like his sugar mother, and she was younger than him, so I'm just all fucking confused. But his sugar mama, Sugar, was there, and she was like, wow, like you're so cute, you're such a baddie, da da da. I was like, thanks, like I didn't think nothing of it or whatever like that. I mean, like she not wrong. But yeah, and she was so nice, she was so sweet to me and stuff like that. And but I think she did know that he liked me. I didn't know because that's not what we discussed. The hell? And mind you, at that time, he was staying with me. So, continuing the story, I really do hope you guys are keeping up. But continuing the story of how it came to be that he was staying with me, right? So he started staying with me because one time after coming home from the club, okay, sorry I'm skipping by the way, but yeah, basically we were coming home and then we couldn't find his Airbnb, right? And this is before I knew he was crazy or whatever. So we couldn't find his Airbnb, and I was like, whatever, like we just can't find it. I'm not finna stay. I'm not. And mind you, he knows my mom. Like my mom knows him from since I was younger and everything like that. So it wasn't a big thing. But I'm not going to spend all this time looking for your Airbnb, and he's like piss drunk, like, right? So he could function, like he could do things on his own, but he was like super duper drunk. It's like, first of all, that's the first red flag. Like red flag, like if a guy goes out with you and he is even your friend, so that means he cares about you, even a girlfriend, and they get super drunk to the point where they can't function more than one time, red flag. They don't care. I bring him back to my place, and I just fall asleep, but we didn't do anything, nothing like that, like literally fell asleep. And yeah, after that, promise you, like he just never left. Like he would explain to me, like he would make excuses, like saying that, like, oh, like I don't have no money to go back and stuff like that. And I believed him because I saw all the money that he had already. I was like, okay, like you got guap and everything, and plus he would make promises, like empty promises. He would be like, yeah, like I'll definitely pay you back. I'll definitely get up out your fucking house very soon. This happened to me before. Like I don't have money right now, but I'll eventually get bread and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, I believed him. Also because he was my friend and stuff like that. Then it progressed to like him actually like staying, and you all through this time I'm still supporting him financially, so buying his weed and stuff like that. And then eventually he was like, yeah, like I need my car note paid and stuff like that, because I forgot the excuse that he said, but he was like, I don't right now, like for only right now, like I don't have a bank, like my bank just laid me off or whatever like that. I don't know how you get laid off from a bank or whatever, but yeah. And I don't have a bank right now that my card note could be attached to. So if you could just like put it on your thing, and then I'll pay you back. Like I'll pay you for each month. So I was like, as long as you pay me in advance, whatever. So the first two times it was like okay. The first three times it was cool. He would pay, and then all of a sudden it just stopped, and it got to like, oh, I'll pay you back and everything like that. And it just never happened. Like the paying back would just never happen. And I swear to God, it got to a point where my bank account was in negative, and my bank account was charging me for my bank being in negative. I was getting charged for what I couldn't pay. So I was in double negative. That's how broke I was. Mind you, I was working. Just all the money was either going to him, his cigarettes, weed, and his car notes, and me as a dumb bitch just being like, yeah, like it's fine, it's cool, whatever, like that. Bitch, no, it's not. The fuck? No, the fuck, it's not. I thank God for all I learned, because wow, like that's just crazy to me. Like he definitely would have me feeling bad for him, and he was explaining like how he had a bad childhood. He was explaining his childhood to me and stuff like that, and how he had a rough time. And I would really feel bad, clearly, because I was paying for shit. I wasn't attracted to him like that, but at this point he was staying at my house, and he would make like just like sexual jokes. We would make sexual jokes and stuff like that. I was just like whatever, because I already explained to him that I don't want nothing. But I don't think that's how we both felt. I think it was just on my side, because like then he approached me with the idea of like having sex and stuff like that, and I was like, whatever, as long as you remember that I don't want shit. So he was like, yeah, like whatever, me neither, da da da. So that's exactly what it was. It was friends with benefits, basically. especially because he was like focused on getting money and stuff like that. He's an artist. He was an artist, so like he got money from shows and stuff like that, and he was actually good. He was, making his mark or whatever like that. So I was like, whatever. And and that's one thing too, a red flag. He idealized the lifestyle, the perfect lifestyle of like getting married, having kids, but also like being an artist, like literally obsessed with the idea of being an artist. Like I've never seen someone idealize being a rapper so much. Like it's not that serious. You know what I'm saying? Like he spoke about it like if it was the best lifestyle ever. Like literally. And it was weird, but I kind of looked, you know how I looked at it? I looked at it as like, oh, like he's very passionate about his dreams. Like, no, that was very unnatural. Like, it seemed like to the point where like he wasn't even doing it for a passion anymore. He was just doing it for the lifestyle of being a rapper. Like, Comethazine, Juice World, like that type rapper. So I was like, whatever. Again, another red flag that I passed up. I didn't pay attention to. And to be honest, I was looking the way how he was making it seem and stuff like that. I was looking at it like shit. I like this is some goodish. I'm looking at it too. Like yeah, like wow. I see what you're talking about. Like this is the life for real. Just young, dumb, and naive. I promise you. So during that whole fantasy and me not realizing that reality was, I was the motherfucking rapper. I was the the sugar daddy. Okay, I'm the one who had the bread and the sense. After after not after anything. It was just literally that. It was just literally friends with benefits, and then progressively it was just me paying for things, and then me eventually meeting his mom. So you could imagine this was going very fast, too fast. Like we're supposed to be still dating, or for example, if this was supposed to be a relationship, we're in the dating phase. I'm meeting his mom. He's living with me. We're already like having sexual attachments, which is a soul tie because there's no commitment. And it was just a mess. So I'm still paying for things. Okay, I'm paying for things like if I'm the breadwinner, and I was because I'm the one who's working and he wasn't. It's just empty promises and lies basically of him saying that I'm gonna pay you back and I'm gonna get money eventually, and da da da. It just never happened. So while I would go to school, go to work and stuff like that, he would be at my place just sitting there. And I started noticing patterns. And this is where it might get a little hard for me to talk about, but like I started noticing patterns of him like blowing up at me, like getting angry for no reason or the smallest reasons that really didn't make sense to me. And there was a specific time where like I was on my way to work, and he was mad. He was really angry because he was mad that he couldn't make money, and he would always say that, oh, I don't want a job, like that's I'm never getting a job, da, da, da. Like he literally felt like he was above getting a job. I didn't get it. So um I literally, bro, this is another thing that I never forget. I literally was like, everything's gonna be okay. I was trying to like calm him down. He's like, don't effing tell me that. And then boom, like he didn't punch me, no, but he punched my door. And my door, like going to the basement, it's like a double wooden door, like one of those old time woods. So it was freaking hard. It was like he cut his hand. And because I'm in the medical field and stuff like that, I helped him wrap it up in bandages and stuff like that. And like he was like, I'm gonna effing kill myself, and like he was speaking to his mom crazy, like calling her a bitch and stuff like that, because he was frustrated that no one was sending him money. Because he would literally like beg the people around him and stuff like that. Like, it didn't make sense. Even when he did get a job, he like literally complained. He's like, oh, I'm gonna effing kill myself. I'm gonna kill myself because I can't take this. And he quit midway, and he's like, oh, I just miss my family and stuff like that. I'm not used to this. And he drove from where he was. So he worked out of town near Toronto. He drove from where he was, picked me up, just to go back to his place to do what he was before, smoke and watch videos of him and his old performances, instead of actually make money, pay me back, pay his car note, do those things. Okay, whatever. If he did me wrong, he would always play victim and say like, oh, and when I would say like, oh, I feel hurt by like your actions or what you're doing, I'll try to like actually communicate with him. He would say, oh, you always feel hurt and stuff like that. Like, he would basically make me feel bad for how I felt, which did not make sense to me at all. And after a while, as you would imagine, I would just stop like voicing my opinions and making like basically telling him how I felt. And to think back of it, that was the basis of our relationship, just not talking. Just talking about whatever he wanted to talk about, and if I disagreed with anything, he would make it seem like I was wrong for even having a different opinion. And it was just so messed up. And I would feel emotionally trapped, but here's the thing, right? This is what I want to warn you guys about too, because if you were raised around people that made you feel this way, or like different narcissists in your life, then you're more susceptible to this, because you're used to feeling like that, and you're used to feeling like kind of not seen and emotionally validated, and dealing with your own things, and not like kind of ignoring your own feelings because other people's lives are impeding in yours. Your other people's problems are not fucking yours at all, period. At no point should you be taking on other people's emotions to the point where it's like you're not recognizing your own needs and wants. From the time his problems were like kind of like overtaking my life, that should have been like the wake up call to be like, okay, like this needs to end, this needs to stop, because you can't control your emotions, and it's weighing too much on the friendship, relationship, whatever the fuck it was. So yeah, every time we would talk, it would be about like nothingness, and it would be so empty and so unvalidating and confusing. One day he asked, after like making, different attempts on several occasions, he asked me to be his girlfriend, and I was like, I kind of didn't want to, and I kind of ignored him for a couple of times, but this time I was like, okay, like, whatever. I was at his house, I was whipped, okay, because I'm not gonna sit here and be like, yeah, it was all him, da da da, because no, it takes two to tango. So my dumb ass, my monkey ass, okay, was like, yeah, whatever, in hopes that would get better. It got really downhill from there. Like, he felt entitled to call me out my name. He felt entitled to just do anything. Like, it was just reckless. Literally, like, he felt like it was okay to just treat me however. Some places I was not allowed to go to. I was restricted that way. I was accused of things before it even happened. Before it could even happen, honestly. All this is all while he was messing with other girls that I didn't even know about, or another girl that I didn't even know about. Sugar, but others I'm not sure. After the fact I heard of it, but I'm not sure others, you know? I had to constantly be in his presence until he went to Miami. So that was when literally I felt free because he went. She noticed the empty promises and everything too, so she was like, yeah, he's not staying here no more, and you better tell him. So he went to Miami, and mind you, with what money, you ask? Because he hasn't been paying me, and he went to Rolling Loud. He messed with Sugar, and they did whatever like that. They got money to go to Miami. So he goes to Miami with Sugar, and he ends up telling me the night before, we, you know, did the dirty, did the, you know, little bang, 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 and then the rubber broke. I ended up the same morning, so the next morning he was on the plane. I was getting a plan B. He did not even call to see if I, you know, got it, swallowed it properly, if I choked on it, if I died, like nothing like that. There was no call or anything. I went to work regularly, right? 2 days after. So he got in, boom. Let's say it was a Monday. He got in. Next day on Tuesday, I get a call at work. And he's like, oh, you know, this girl, she's trying to say that I raped her and I didn't effing rape her. Like, Brielle, you know me and stuff like that. I was like, well, um, there's only two ways that rape could be, could, there's only, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? So he was like, yeah, like she's claiming I raped her and stuff like that. And like, only certain things happen. I was like, well, you can't claim rape if it's what's it called, fellatio, whatever like that. If she's sucking your dick, like, you can't. That doesn't even work. That lie doesn't work. So either both of you consented and she's lying, or you actually did. So it wasn't bad enough that he spent out all my money between his car notes, weed, and yeah, but he also cheated. And I didn't know what to say. And I was just like, I need to go. I need to go back to work, first of all. Second of all, I need to go get up out of here, out of this crazy ass mess with your own crazy monkey ass. But as you can imagine, like all broken people, I stayed. And you know, this is after he explains that to me, how like you know, she's claiming that I raped her, whatever like that. I was like, first of all, like, what do you mean? Because how are you even in the room with girls? Last time I checked, you went with your boys. Like, literally his friends went. And he was like, yeah, like, you know, they put me in a room with all the girls and stuff like that. Later to find out that, no, nigga, you put your fucking self in the room, because it was Sugar and then his other good friend that he actually told me that sleeps with rappers just for fun. Not for money, nothing. No, bitch, just for fun. So, and she ended up using all the Uber money to go sleep with the rappers. And then that's how he missed his favorite artists at Rolling Loud. I was like, huh. And I'm just putting it in the story time because I still feel so fucking good about that. Like, good for your ass. So I just needed time to clear my mind and stuff like that. So I took like a week for myself. He went back to his place, and like, I just took the week for myself because I was like, this is just this is three much for me. He got mad because I was like, I don't want to talk to you for this week and everything like that. Like, I just need time alone to like properly, because something happens to you when you get cheated on. Something happens to you like emotionally. It's just like, you feel broken and let down, even like, especially after you try to give your all and that's still not good enough. So after that, like, he had an issue because, mind you, he knew the friend that I'm speaking about. She is an artist as well, so they did shows together and stuff like that. He knows who I was hanging out with, and I was hanging out with her going sightseeing, and he was mad at me because I was not taking the I was getting paid that same week. He was mad that I wasn't willing to take that money or find money to go and see him, and that I was out sightseeing with my friend. So he was on the phone while I was sightseeing with my friend. He was on the phone, literally screaming at me, calling me on my name, saying, why aren't you effing picking up? Why don't you want to come see me? Like, I don't get it, da da da. Like, he was really like going off on me. He was really going off on me, like, in the most unnatural way. Like, if I really like killed a family member or something of his, like, going off. And what really and truly helped me is the fact that, like, she heard. I put that on speaker, and she heard everything. She heard everything, and she's like, "Girl, you have to leave him. Like, there is no if, ands, or buts." And I was like, "Girl, you fucking right." And that's how it happened. I, like, that same time, in that moment, I was like, "Yo, I'm done." And he was like, "Are you serious?" And he started begging and stuff like that. And I was like, "No. Like, do you just see what you just called me? Do you understand that you're yelling at me because I don't have money to come and see you? Like, after you spend out all my money, and then you just came back from Miami, and you just came back from cheating, and, like, are you okay?" He ends up posting pictures of girls, even girls that he took, a girl that he took a picture on the plane of, saying that, like, he would smash. He posted this on social media, and this is while everybody on his social media, okay, mind you, because he's not like me where I'm like introverted, no one's on my social media. No, like, people watch him, right? Like, hundreds, or how many ever, whatever, like that. On his social media, this is him posting that after people knowing that we're together. Just freaking embarrassing. So he did that, and I was like, yeah, that's really super duper messed up. And I just knew at that moment, like, this is why I left you. Like, this is exactly why. Um, it honestly ended there. Like, there was no afterthought or nothing like that. Like, I was super done. I still am super done. Like, I'm so super done. This is exactly why I started this channel, to help other girls. To help other girls in situations like these, and for them to really recognize that, like, you don't have to go through any of this. And guys that are like that, like, they're narcissists. Like, newsflash, I don't know if y'all was taught this, but I was not, okay? And it's not normal to be that controlling, or controlling at all in a relationship. Like, you're your own person. I can say definitely I was verbally and mentally and emotionally abused by a narcissist. It was very unpleasant. It was very draining financially for me. It was very draining emotionally for me, mentally for me, like, literally. It was not pleasant at all. And I don't want anybody to go through that. That's exactly why I started this channel, because this shit's serious out here. And I looked at the statistics, and most guys, not most guys, but a lot of guys are narcissists because of what they've been through, and what's expected to them of them, basically. And I just feel like, wow, like, that's really crazy. Because if I went through all of that in my experience, then, like, what are other girls going through? You know what I'm saying? But I'm very glad I'm out of that situation. So the lessons that I took from this are, don't get caught up with a guy's money. You never know how he's getting it and if it'll be gone tomorrow. And that's the main thing. Y'all heard, like, he was just making empty promises, and me just being the nice person that I was just trying to, like, you know, help him. Because I was like, okay, like, you know, everyone has their dark days or whatever like that. Not knowing that this was a regular for him. Like, he literally had sex for money all the time. I didn't even want it though. Like, he put me I was like, what the fuck? Like, I was like, okay, whatever, because it's a new experience for me. I was like, oh, whatever. Like, shit. Wish I was lying. I really do wish I, like, could say, like, yeah, you know, I wanted something with him and stuff like that. Like, no, bitch. What happened was, I got lost in my desire of wanting money and looking at, like, looking at him like he could get something that I couldn't. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if that makes sense, but, like, I was really looking at things, like, from a perspective of, you know, yes, I'm working and stuff like that, but, like, he's gonna, I don't know, like, I don't even know what I was thinking. I don't know what I was thinking. I just did not have self-worth, self-esteem, none of that. And I feel like self-love is so important. That's exactly why I got so heavily into self-development, because I told myself I will never, ever, ever put myself in that predicament again. I was kind of like just allowing any and everything. Like, I know, I, I knew what I wanted. Well, I didn't, obviously. But even the basics that I knew that I wanted in a relationship, he was not giving it to me. But I was like, okay, whatever. You know, like, I have hope. Things will get better, whatever. I just let it rock. And that's a super duper big mistake. Super duper big mistake, because from the first time you see a guy is not giving you what you want, then it's not going to change. It's just not. The second lesson is, don't trust not catching feelings when sex is involved, even if you're sure you won't. At least up until you use your discernment and count your red flags and see if this person will bring you down or help you rise. Because in all honesty, I really do believe sex was part of the reason why I was so dumb. Um though I knew that, like, though I knew that, like, I didn't like him more than, you know, more than friends with benefits or whatever. I really do feel like, because I don't know if you guys know what an empath is, though I am an empath, and plus, even just in general, being a girl, being a woman, like, you will you will somewhat at some point catch feelings, and if you don't catch feelings, you still can't mistake the fact that it's going to kind of influence how you think or how you feel about the person. Like, sex sex is not conditional. It's very much still soul tying, whether you're in a relationship or not. Like, you could have sex with someone and not be in a relationship and still catch feelings. Like, I completely believe that. So that was definitely mistake numero uno. Like, it was just, it should have never been. Also, if you're having sex and you're not, like, you you didn't have conversation with that person, enough conversation to say, like, you know, this person knows what I need or what I'm expecting. Because I didn't know he was expecting me to pay for his shit and stuff like that. I thought I was just doing it out of the goodness of my heart, the kindness of my heart, and I expected him to pay me the fuck back. But bitch, it did not end up like that at all. Lesson number 3. I learned that summer about narcissism and realizing that I might have been raised around narcs and I was taught codependent behaviors in love. Subconsciously, I believe to look at how much money a man has and that sex is kind of inevitable. You know what I'm saying? Like, sex can happen at any time. And that's not true. Like, it should never happen too soon. And even looking back on relationships that, just ended because of other reasons too. It didn't end because we had sex too early or whatever like that. If I could go back to those, I wouldn't have sex that early as I did, because giving up giving up my body like that, like, you don't even deserve it, because look, we're not even together today, so what's the point? Like, there is no point. Summarized though, I just wanted to give you guys context on what some of the narcissistic traits are, so you guys don't get caught up. Okay, so summarize, self-importance is one of them. And it's kind of like idealizing self over everything. As I said, he felt like he didn't have to ask for nothing. So he felt entitled to everything. And I say this because even to him staying at my place and stuff like that, like, how the fuck are you gonna punch the fuck my door? Bitch, you don't even pay rent. You don't even buy groceries. The fuck? You don't pay rent, you don't buy groceries, nothing like that. And he just felt like he was entitled to stay at my house. Even though I was doing him a favor and stuff, like, not even a favor, like, I was doing him, I was just doing him. Even though I was being nice and stuff like that, like, he felt like entitled to me, my body, my house, my home, my family, like, everything. Like, he felt entitled, and I allowed that. He was preoccupied with fantasies. So besides him being actually preoccupied with fantasies, him fantasizing like being a rich and famous rapper, like, the whole lifestyle of like having kids, settling down, and wanting to get married and stuff like that, like, you don't even have the credentials. You don't even want to do the self-development work. I don't want to hear none of that shit. But usually a narcissist, that's literally like how they are. They're preoccupied with these kind of fantasies and stuff like that. And I didn't even know that was a thing, like, to kind of speed up relationships and go fast in relationships, because you just want to get married and have kids and settle down so fast, because it's a fantasy of like white picket fence and all of that good-ish. And you can't be so obsessed with that lifestyle that you forget to even look at what's really at hand. Like, you're broke, you actually don't have money. First of all, your credit score is actually horrible, so you can't get any white picket fence house. Okay, you can barely get an apartment. Relax now. You can barely get an Airbnb. Okay, hold up. There was a lack of empathy, and that's what you see in narcissism as well. So he cheated on me after all he put me through. Plus, he had the nerve to drain me financially, wanting me to still find money to see him. That is such a big lack of empathy. And mind you, we never spoke about how I felt about the situation or how it made me feel at all. Like, he definitely didn't want me to bring up. He literally told me not to bring it up. And that girls in his past usually did, and he doesn't want me doing that because he already knows what he did and stuff like that. Arrogance. He would get mad at me and his mother and family and friends for not giving him money, even when he went as far as to calling her a bitch. So remember in the story, he was going off on people, everybody. Like, he would feel personally upset if he called on you for money or something like that and you didn't give it to him. So, I mean, if that's not arrogance, if that's not like entitlement, self-entitlement and stuff like that, I don't know what is. Like, I really don't, because he literally felt like he was entitled to everybody's pockets and everybody's time, and when in reality he was just a fucking waste of time. So I sent him love and light, and you know, I told myself I will never get in a relationship like that again, a situation like that again, and I'll take more control of my life. And it sounds like girl, like, isn't that a given? But when you're broken emotionally and when you're like used to narcissism and getting treated in certain ways, then like these things are less evident to you. And as the series goes on, I will explain more and more like how you know, how you may be more susceptible to these things and to people who treat you this way, because I know a lot of people that are in relationships with narcissists, and I see a lot of people in relationships with narcissists and they don't even know. They don't even know, because all of the narcissist actions were normalized by the people around them. So of course, in future videos during this series, I will be explaining to you guys like more of you know, the different factors of relationship, how to kind of pinpoint like how to avoid these relationships and how they usually start, because all narcissist relationships start the same. I can promise you that. I did my research on this. I've seen it myself, and now that I'm able to identify this, it's so much easier to navigate and to kind of like balance my emotions when it comes to things and realize what's wrong or right. So if this video helped you and you think it could help anybody else, then I please ask you to send it to whoever needs it. And I please ask you to not get yourself caught up in relationships like this, and to actually notice the signs and be certain of what you want and whatnot. So if you love self-development and you want to, why is my button doing this? Anyways, if you are all about self-development, beauty, and makeup, you like how my makeup turned out, I like how it turned out. Please subscribe. Okay, I'm all about self-development, plus this is the start of a new series. I love it. And I forgot to put my moles. This is the start of a new series. So this is the start of a new series, and I hope you guys loved this story time. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.